Happy Saturday, everybody. My name is Advent, and I'm not a financial advisor. Anything that I go over in this content or in my future content is not financial advice. So today we're going to switch it up. No charts today. So bring out your notepads. We're going to be talking about the dangers of mixing self-worth and trading. Also, shout out to Joy. You guys can thank her for this video in the comments. We're going to be going over 10 different categories today. Not going to spend too much time on each one. I just want to share with you guys things that you may want to look into and things that may actually be happening right now in your trading journey. So, as I mentioned, the dangers of mixing self-worth and trading, very, very dangerous. First one that we're going to talk about is the psychological impact on trading on your self-esteem. So, what I've experienced in my own journey and also what I've seen in people that I've worked with and just people online and sharing their stories, a lot of traders tend to tie their self-worth into their success or failures when it comes to trading in the markets, right? They might internalize either personal success or personal failure with the market cycle or, their P&L, so on and so forth. You need to understand that whether you win or lose when it comes in the markets, it's very different than you as a human being in the sense of, you know, what your self-worth is, if you're successful, if you're a failure, so on and so forth. So to keep it simple, if you win or if you lose in trading, that doesn't mean that outside of that, that you may be a failure or a winner or what have you. Generally, the negative tends to stick a lot more than the positive from what I've seen. So if somebody loses, let's say they lose a bunch of trades or they're just going, they're losing day by day, month by month, so on and so forth. Because of that, they may think that they themselves, as human beings, are failures, right? Which is far from the truth. You as a human being and you as a trader is two very different things. As I've said it in other videos before. And it's very, very dangerous when you compare the two, right? Because if let's say you lose a trade or you lose several trades in a day and you keep that loss with you, you may think like, oh, I'm a loser, I'm a failure, I'm this and that. When in reality, you actually aren't within reason, we're keeping it trading related. I'm not going to come at anybody's life right now. But, you losing that day is not reflective of you as a person outside of trading, right? I've traded with, or I've taught, like six-figure individuals who make that amount of money outside of trading, and they're successful and winners and so on and so forth outside of trading, but in trading, they're having some struggles, right? That doesn't mean that because you're not that good at trading, at least not yet, that you aren't good or you're a failure, what have you, in outside of that, in your regular life. So you don't want to get into the habit of, having red days or having losing streaks, and then you start thinking that you're a failure or that you're a loser or so on and so forth. When in reality, all that needs to happen is that you just need to refine your trading system and techniques and so on and so forth, right? So I'll keep that there for now to not go into more detail. The second thing is going to be overcoming the trader's ego, as I like to call it. This is going to be more towards the winning side of trading, but I'll still speak on it. So essentially, the trader's ego is, the danger of when you feel invincible, right? You had a bunch of good trades, you've been green weeks in a row or days in a row or whatever it may be, and you think, you're hot stuff, the market can't touch you, you're a market wizard, this and that. And then what happens is you tend to get looser with your rules or what got you that success, right? So what people tend to do and what I did as you, for those who've been following my content for a while, my biggest loss ever that happened in 2021 was because I felt like I was on top of the world, like I was the market and so on and so forth. I had like 5 months or 4 or 5 months green in a row. And then I'm like, cool, I know exactly what I'm doing. The market can't touch me, so on and so forth. And then what happened is my risk management threw that out the window. Respecting my rules and my stop loss, threw that out the window. Because I was like, well, if I'm succeeding so much, what's the point of, let's say, only using 10% of my account? Let me use 50%. Because if I'm going to be winning so much, let me win even more. And that resulted in the biggest loss of my trading career. I let the position go to negative 98, 99, 98% because I thought I couldn't lose and because I thought I was invincible, as opposed to just taking the loss and moving on. And that messed me up for a long time, for probably like half a year or more until I got over that when I got some help from my life coach and some other coaches that I work with and mentors. Cool. So number three, essentially, it's going to be the impact of social comparison. So essentially, when it comes to social media, Instagram, TikTok, YouTubers, so on and so forth, they, at least for the most part, obviously there are other ones, but for the most part, they're always posting wins. They're never posting losses. They're showing you like the perfectionism of trading, right? You can do this too, which of course you can. You can win a lot, but there's also going to be losses. But the thing of, looking at them only winning if they're not sharing any losses is that you yourself as well think that if you're not winning, then you're not good at what you do or that you're not good at trading. But remember, losses are a part of this business. I've lost what for this month in November, 5 red days. And even on my green days, there were trades that I lost. That's perfectly normal. It's to be expected. I wish I was 100%. That would be fantastic. But unfortunately, that's not the reality that we live in. So do the best that you can, to quiet that noise. Don't compare yourself to other traders, other individuals. You can look at them as more of like, cool, I want to reach a goal like that. I want to get to a point where I can follow my rules and my disciplines to get better outcomes where I'm green more than I'm red. And I've seen a lot of times where even myself and people that I've worked with or people that come to me for help is that they'll be like, oh, like this person's posting like $1,000 gains or $2,000 gains, and I want to do that too. I'm only here like making $100 a day. But it's like, remember, they're on their path. You don't know how long it took them to reach that. You don't know what they've been through, what they've experienced to reach that goal of making $1,000, $2,000 days, right? Maybe once upon a time they were where you are at $100 a day or $200 a day, whatever it is. So it's always good to bring it back and understand that you are on your journey and they are on theirs. And one day, if you continue the path properly and have proper expectations and keep on following your system, then you will reach those $1,000 days. Because if you can turn $500 to 1,000, you can turn 5,000 to 10,000, 50,000 to 100,000. It's literally just the numbers are changing, but it's the same process. So do your best not to compare yourself. Remember, you are on your journey and you will reach the goals that you want. Just do it properly. Moving on. Number four, the danger of emotional decision making. When you tie your self-worth to the profits that you make or the losses that you make, as I mentioned earlier, you will probably be more liable to make impulsive decisions, right? You know, you may want to prove yourself because if you're not making money, then you may think that you're not doing anything, right? That I made this video about a message to men, right? Whereas men, we how do I put this? As men, we are essentially in the social structure. As a man, we are here to provide, right? We're here to provide for the family, children, girlfriend, wife, so on and so forth. So if you're not making money, you may think that your value as a man is like, you're failing as a man or a provider or for the husband or whatever it is that you might tie into that, which again is very dangerous because instead of you, let's say for the first, I'll give you guys some examples. Let's say you're trading and nothing has happened. Your setup has not appeared and you're about to get off for the day. And you're like, man, I haven't taken any trades yet. I haven't made any money, but I need to make money as a man to provide for my family and X, Y, and Z. It's very, very dangerous because then you're going to be enticed to take trades that aren't even yours just to do something. But you have to understand that as a trader and as a human being, as I mentioned earlier, are separate. The trader understands that whether I do something today or not, it's all tied to my system, the setups that I look for. If you sit down for 3 hours and your setup does not appear and you do not take a trade, the trader understands that's okay. It's okay to not take any trades if your setup doesn't appear. I rather end zero than force a trade that's not mine and then end negative. And what you really don't want to do is force a trade and then you end green. So now you're building a bad habit of, all right, even though my setup didn't appear and I didn't practice patience, I'm going to take a trade anyway. And it might win, one, two, three times in a row. But then what happens? When you get into that cycle, you think it's going to keep working. And then you're going to take a loss. Then you're going to take another one. And then you might even size in bigger to make up for those losses. And now you're going to be on a red streak because of that. So you do not want to build that bad habit. Trust me, I've been there and it is very difficult to get out of. So, do your best and always take a step back and understand that, whatever is happening outside of your trading life is irrelevant to trading. If you want to prove to somebody that you're successful because you make money every day, this is not the business for you. This is not the thing for you to do. There's other ventures that you can do to do that, but do not bring that to trading. Very, very dangerous. Cool. So the next one, the long-term damage of identity loss. This happened to me. Essentially, it's going to cause a lot of burnout and stress. We're going to be constantly, you're going to constantly be measuring your success by your trading results, which can lead to burnout, chronic stress, depression over time, especially if the results are inconsistent. So, a little tied into what I mentioned earlier, but essentially it's when you tie in your identity to your trading performance. So, essentially similar to what I mentioned before, it's when you tie your identity, whether you're a winner, loser, or whatever it is that, whatever words you want to use to your trading performance. Cool. Your trading is green, your account is green for the month. That must mean you're a winner. Your account is red for the month. That might mean that you're a loser. When in reality, all that really means is that the market worked in your favor. Because if you take your setup, let's say for the sake of the conversation, if you take one setup, that's your setup for the entire month, exactly as you take it, whether you win or lose is not up to you. That's up to the market, right? So don't tie the outcome to you as a person because it's really up to the market whether you're going to win or lose. You can have a whole month and you might even end red because your setup just didn't want to work that month, and that's okay. Now, of course, if you have 2 months in a row that's red and you're taking that setup, might want to refine it, but that's a thing for another call or another video. So, regardless of what the performance is, do not tie it to you as a person, because again, I can take my best setups, and I've taken my setups and I've ended red in a week. It is what it is. Was I upset? Absolutely. I'm a human being, just like you guys. But you don't want to, um, what's the word? You don't want to act on that outcome, right? You don't want to be like, all right, well, I ended red this week. Let me next week, let me over leverage. Let me use more sides so I can make up for the red week. Don't do that because what can happen is you can have a similar week and now you're red double the amount that you normally would be. So, you know, just to reiterate, do the best that you can to not tie that in because you don't want to act out of fear or greed or even being insecure and forcing things to happen. Number six. This is going to be more so on the positive side. I think I structured it like the first five were negative, next five are positive. So number six is going to be essentially just creating a healthy relationship with trading. You really want to pay attention to and really give importance of separating yourself from your trading outcome. You know, you can be really good at trading, but you can be, let's say, a bad boyfriend or a bad girlfriend or husband, father, what have you, right? A bad employee at your job, or even just a bad human being in general. And vice versa. You can be bad at trading, but you can be a great person outside of that. Of course, as I mentioned with trading, you can always improve that. Same thing, obviously, with you and yourself in your outside life, you can always improve and overcome things that you may not be the best at. So always understand that the market is going to fluctuate. It's not going to always be the best. You're not always going to have the best setups, or the best setups are not going to always play out as you want them to. And losing is a part of this process. Winning, losing, same thing in my book. You're going to win, you're going to lose. It is what it is. It's just another Tuesday. So having a healthy relationship with that is really going to help you and take you far. Number seven, building resilience and mental toughness. Adopting a growth mindset is very, very important because you need to understand, as I mentioned earlier, losses are part of this, right? And you're going to learn from them. The losses are going to be one of the biggest teachers when it comes in your trading, as opposed to just focusing on winners, right? Because if you won, you didn't really learn anything. All you really learned is that your setup works. Cool. But with the losses, they're going to teach us a lot more, right? So always look at a loss in the sense of instead of like, oh man, this sucks. I lost money today, or I lost this trade. Instead, let's flip it into a positive. All right, I lost this trade. Why? Why did I lose this trade? Was it because I didn't follow my plan? Was it because I didn't follow my rules? Was it because, I took a setup that isn't mine? Or did I lose simply because I was on the wrong side of probability? Which again, it is what it is. If you take your setup and it loses, can't control that. However, let's see what we can control. If I lost this trade, what can I do to improve? Let's use an example. Um, let's say for the sake of the conversation, for those who trade the strat, let's say the setup was a 2-1-1. So it's a double inside bar. And as we know, we're going to wait for the previous high to break to the top side or the downside to take a 2 and 2 up, 2 and 2 down, or whatever. Let's say you thought that it was going to reverse up. So instead of you being patient and waiting for the trade to trigger you in, what you instead did was you got in on the inside bar. And as we know as strat traders, we never, ever, ever get in on inside bars because that's not a trigger. That's simply a setup that we're waiting for, but we don't have no confirmation. We don't have no trigger that's actually getting us into that trade. So in that trade, what you would have learned, again, flipping it into a positive, what did I learn from this trade? What I've learned is that actually, I forgot a part. So you thinking it's going to go up, it actually went down. So it went, two and two down continuation or two and two down reversal, whatever. Um, but you went long or buy calls or whatever. So what you could learn from that trade is that, I wasn't patient, and instead of me waiting for my setup to take it to the upside on two and two bullish reversal or what have you, I actually got in early and I didn't wait. So because I was experiencing FOMO, or I had some fear of missing out on that trade, what instead happened is I lost the trade because it actually went totally opposite of what I expected. So what I've learned is that I need to be more patient and that I need to wait for my trigger for the trade to happen. And you guys can apply this to whatever your trading system is or whatever setups you take. So always look at a loss as a learning experience so we can grow and overcome and adapt, right? Don't ever just take a loss and be like, all right, whatever, I'm gonna do it again next time. Always, always, always journal it. Always, always, always learn from it, because if you continue to make the same mistakes, you're gonna stay in the same cycle and you do not want to get there. Cool. So number 8, the role of community and support systems. So essentially, in number 8 is, you want to surround yourself with people who are successful in the trading world, and those who I don't want to use the word that people that you aspire to be, but more so that can be a guide for you, right? I'll use myself as an example because this is my video after all. Um, my first mentor, he was great. He taught me a lot. I made a lot of money of learning from him. However, in his eyes, making 20 or 30% returns was like the holy grail, right? It was like, whoa, we made 30% of the trade. It's fantastic. And then when I met my second set of mentors, the strat mentors, 100K, true to the strat, trust my level, brown strat king, faith in the strat, so on and so forth. They were like 30%, 100% is the norm, right? On average, 50 to 100% or more is to be expected, right? Yeah, the trade might only give you 20, 30%, but on average, 50 or 100% or more is what's to be expected. And that blew me away because I was always under the impression that 20 to 30% was a lot, right? And then they opened up my eyes and opened up my mind to bigger and better possibilities than what I was taught before. So because I was around them, instead of me having 20, 30% as a regular, as a normal thing, now 50 to 100% is regular for me. And that's to be expected. Obviously, it's not going to happen every trade, but on average, 50 to 100% gains would be the normal result. So alongside having, traders that like I mentioned, like my mentors that helped me a lot, being in a community that can help you build that skill and really help you attain the goals that you want is very, very important. So do your best, to weed out the bad ones and the good ones and things like that. As I always tell people that come to me to either join my community or have me be their mentor or what have you, I am not here to spoon feed anybody trades. Like they're like, hey, do you shout trades out? I'm like, I don't do that. Well, I do it, but very, 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 very sparingly. Like maybe every now and then, I'm like, hey, I'm gonna get in here or get in there. But that's very, very rare because my aim for, being a mentor and teaching you guys is to make you be a self-sufficient trader. Ultimately, I don't want you guys to rely on me Of course, I have students that I talk to almost every single day or every week, but they basically trade on their own. They don't need me anymore because if anything were to happen to me, what are you going to do? Right? So my goal is always to teach people to be self-sufficient, to find their own trades, and so on and so forth. And I think that's the most important thing because let's use the analogy of a job, right? If you're so reliant on your job for money, what happens if you get fired tomorrow? What are you going to do? Right? Same thing that I like to apply with trading. If I am so tied to a group, like I need this group to make money trading, that's a problem in my opinion, right? If you're into signal groups and I support, I'm in groups that throw signals out and I support them. I help their group out. But just with what I'm trying to do in this trading space is to make self-sufficient traders and teach them the skill of trading for themselves. So if you want a signals group, that's not my group. I'm telling you right now, if you want signals group, I can recommend you some really good ones. But again, my aim is to, create self-sufficient traders. So, like I mentioned, coaching and mentorship is always very important. You're either going to pay in time, so you can be profitable by my content, but how much time is that going to take you to go through all the material, right? Or, you can pay somebody to teach them to you in a concise and, simple way to understand. So you're either going to pay in money or you're going to pay in time. Choose whichever one is most important to you, and then, go along from there. Cool. So another thing, with mentors, they can help you and they can support you step by step. So if you have any troubles, whatever's coming up now, we can assess the issue on the spot and then correct it immediately, as opposed to, you going down that path of trials and tribulations for months in a row. Cool. So some tips that you guys can do to balance your trading and mental life, have healthy boundaries between trading and your own personal lives. So for me, what I would prefer everybody not to go through is what I went through when I first started. Like once I discovered trading, I was hooked. Like I was on this every day. Like, and my first mentor, we traded penny stocks. So I would be up like at 4 or 5 in the morning, and I'll be on the charts from 4 or 5 in the morning to 4 or 5 at night. And then after I finish, then I'll go down, I'll study for like 2, 3 hours. I was cooked. My brain was fried. I wasn't present for family, friends, my girlfriend at the time, and all these things. And that really messed me up physically and mentally. Health wise, it was horrible. My sleeping patterns were horrible. My relationship, it was horrible. Many things were happening because of this, because I didn't have a healthy balance between the two, right? So it's always important to understand that, just like your regular job, you need to have a proper balance between the two. If you have a family, go attend to your family duties, and then, you can speak to them too, speak to your partner. I didn't do that. I did that after the fact when it was, when things were a little getting bad, but speak to your family, speak to your friends, speak to your loved ones. Hey, look, I learned this new skill, and if I learn this, this is going to be, and this is the outcome that I want, and this is how it can change our lives. So, what I would like, if you guys can, you know, understand what's going to be happening with me for the next few months or year or whatever, you know, instead of me spending time with you guys for 3 hours every day in the afternoon, I'm gonna only gonna spend 2 hours with you guys or an hour and a half, and I'm gonna be studying for an hour or an hour and a half. Do it the proper way. Do it the way that everybody's on the same page and everybody understands, right? And the better you can communicate that, the better it's going to be. So people know what to expect. All right, cool. Such and such is going to be busy from 7 a.m. or from 7 p.m. to 8 p.m. studying. So let me not bother them when that's happening. Right. So I can respect that. Now, of course, for people who don't trade, they might not understand that, if you're just looking at charts, they think they can, they can talk to you, but it's like, I'm looking, I'm studying right now. So, just talk to them, have healthy boundaries with you and yourself, and then, with you and, family members, X, Y, and Z, so everybody can be on the same page and they can be on board. In the beginning, they might give you something to expect if you are a new trader or those who have been trading. If you are new to trading, they might uh they might talk smack to just keep it simple, like, oh, you're wasting your time and this and this and that. They're gonna talk smack until they start seeing the results. I had somebody where his wife was like, oh, you're always on the charts and you're always doing this and X, Y, and Z. A year later, he finally got profitable and consistent. He started bringing in a lot of money, started going on vacations every other month, every month, buying a whole bunch of nice things. His wife was quiet. So just expect that where when they start talking crap and they start seeing the results, they're gonna switch up. Cool. The last thing that I want to end on, well, maybe one more thing I'll talk about. So, oh, actually, before I forget, tips for balancing trading and mental health. Journal, aside from like a trading journal, keep a regular journal to put down your thoughts and like what's going on either in your life, what's going on in trading. That way you can like let that go and put that on paper. You don't want to hold that inside of you and just keep it from one day to the next. It's very, very important that you get those things out on paper, as well as therapy. Very, very important for therapy. It helped me a lot, even with trading and outside of trading. So highly recommend therapy. Don't think that you're better than it. It can really help you a lot and really help you uncover things that may be coming up in your trading. I'll give you guys a quick example so I don't go off on a 20-minute tangent. Um, I had this one individual who, um, when he was younger and growing up, he didn't have a lot, right? His family was poor. It was a struggle, growing up. And then in trading, every time he would make a lot of money, he would think that he didn't like subconsciously, he didn't think that he didn't deserve that because he's always lived a poor life or what have you, right? So those things can manifest in your trading in a negative way. So because he grew up like that and now he started seeing success and making money that he didn't think he would be making, subconsciously he would self-sabotage and give all that money back, making like super silly mistakes, like super rookie mistakes, right? So therapy can definitely help you uncover certain things and understand certain parts of you that you may not have known about or have you really even brought to the surface. So, it's very important to face yourself and overcome those things so you can improve as a human being and also so it can reflect in your trading in a good way. Cool. Let's see. Anything else on that section? Have a day off every now and then. For me on Saturdays, for the most part, besides like the chart and chill session in the morning, I don't look at my charts because, you want to get disconnected, right? You want to have like, go watch movies, go do whatever you want with your family, go out, this and that. But, it's always good to have just time off from the charts because you don't want to get burnt out. All right, I'll stop talking about that. The next thing, number 10, the dangers of perfectionism. Aiming to be perfect and having only green days or only winning trades and trying to avoid negative red trades is very dangerous. It's going to be a recipe for stress and disappointments and many other things. No trader, no matter how experienced, it wins 100%. I've never discovered one. I've never seen one. If you guys have, please email me or please message me so I can learn from them. But as far as I've seen, nothing is 100% in the trading world. Perfectionism can really paralyze you as a trader, right? It can lead you to not taking action. It can lead you to overanalyzing, missing opportunities. You know, uh, it'll lead you in the pursuit of perfection. It'll be more damaging than it is good for your trading in the sense that, you know, you're trying to be this perfect trader. You're trying to win every single trade that you take. Again, that's not possible. It's not realistic. Yeah, you can win 90 trades out of 100, but you're still going to lose 10. So if you're in your outside life, if you try to like succeed and win in everything, and you try to bring that same mentality into trading, you're going to have a real hard time. I'm going to tell you right now. So do not ever approach trading in a perfectionist viewpoint. You're going to lose. That's to be expected. Cool. So, just in conclusion with everything, the success in trading isn't about the numbers and the money that you make within reason, because you can gamble and you can make a lot of money. But the success, in my opinion, really comes from the mindset, the discipline, and the, consistency and emotional mastery that you build in your trading career that brings the money, right? By me mastering and doing my best to follow my rules, my discipline, having the proper mindset, that's where the money is going to come from consistently, right? So always remember that it's important to prioritize your health as a trader. I mean, as a human, I would even say as a trader too. And, prioritize mental health and prioritize self-worth and understand that they're two separate, they're two different things. And, spend time nurturing both. As a trader, spend time developing your system, your plan, so on and so forth. So you're clear on what your system and your process looks like as a trader. And then also develop a system and discipline and structure for your personal life. What are you doing outside of trading? What hobbies do you have? What are you going to do, uh, you know, to better yourself as a human being, so on and so forth. So always have a proper system for both and proper structure. That way, it can help you improve your trading success and also your success outside of that. Other than that, that is all I have for today. If this was helpful in any way, please like, subscribe, and all that good stuff. Let me know in the comments below if you've ever experienced any of these things that I've spoken about, or if you're currently experiencing any of these things. You're more than welcome to book a free discovery call with me. It'll be in the description of this video and in my biography on the channel itself. And we'll talk. I'll see you guys.